Hello there. Welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst of Lists. The tops and top 10 worst of lists throughout the entirety of Tarnation. I am your host for high-minded, insightful endeavor towards intellectual and emotional integrity, growth, and transcendence. My name is Drew Peacock, and I oh, it's bad. It's so bad. This stuff is so bad. I highly recommend that everybody that's the sound of my voice go find something else to do with their time besides listen to this garbage. Trash. Oh, what it is, if you choose to stick around, God bless you. There's a compendium of a wide array of various different topics, top 10 worst things within those topics, set up, and they're ranked in order of importance and intensity. I think maybe you got it? Can I go forward now? All the questions and comments. Dear sirs, why are you doing this? Isn't there anything you can find better to do with your time than this pile of garbage? Infantile jokes about a wide array of things that people feel very strongly about? Can't you just shut up? I mean, all these comments, they're getting redundant. I think you should come up with a chart. I don't think I'll be able to do it for this episode, but I'll try to do it soon. If I live long enough, which is coming into greater question as time goes on here. But I come up with a chart of various different types of things, make it easier on you to complain about. I have a list. Like number one on the answer key would be like, why are you wasting yours and our time as viewers with this nonsensical diarrhea of the mouth garbage? And just instead of having to type all that out, you can just type number one on the comments and just be like, well, there it goes, number one. So it's number two would be do the world a favor and kill yourself. Number three, so instead of having to write that out, you can just write number two. Hey, look, here's number two for you. Number two, I'm going to maybe you have a life full of number twos. Number three would be like, I have, my great grandmother is still alive. Would you perhaps consider going on a blind date with her? Stuff like that. Anyway, top 10 worst list of today is top 10 worst things that you added to the slideshow. See, this is it's catering to the prurient interests of so many of you who've asked for more sexually, what's the word for when they get something that has two meanings? Entendre? No, double entendre. It's not a double entendre, really. Slideshow is a definite thing. It's not like a surreptitious little sexual innuendo. That's the word I think I'm looking for. People have been asking me for more sexual innuendos on top 10 worst lists. And we are, if nothing, responsive to the needs and desires of our viewers, because without you, we're nothing. Which means, translates to, we're nothing. Anyway, so both of you who are out there watching, we've responded to your calls for more sexually charged topics on here. So we're, Top 10 worst things that you added to the slideshow. Before we get to that, however, those of you who don't know what slideshow is, I invite you to spend 5 freaking seconds in your life researching and looking something up without having it served up to you on a platter, without you having to do any work. What's so wrong about that? What's wrong with people having to maybe sacrifice a little bit of themselves in order to be able to become more intelligent, more capable, more competent human beings as they traverse through their lives within this world? What do you want to be, a total mushhead, moronic dunderpate throughout your entire life? You know, do you never want to progress, like have a difference between the idiot that you are now and the slightly tiny little bit less idiot that you could be if you just look up a few things on your own and take charge of your own intellectual growth and development? What are you going to wait for somebody to be able to do that for you? Where are you going to get it from? The news? I highly doubt it. You get from one of the TV shows that you're watching? How about Who's Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? It's a good show. And some of the stuff on the Learning Channel. I'm watching it on the Learning Channel. I'm getting better, stronger, and smarter every day because I watch nothing but the Learning Channel. Not going to get it done. If it's going to happen, it's going to be on you. There's no, everything's compromised. All your leaders, all your institutions, everything like that, they don't want you smarter. They want you dumber. They want you stupid. They want you eating a bunch of fatty foods. They want you watching people like me, quite frankly, so that you get angry and angry, but don't have anything to do about it. So you get so frustrated that the most power that you're able to summon from within you, from the deepest part within your soul, the essential you that you're digging out from to try to provide propulsion to your wants and desires. The most that you can summon forth from that deep place within yourself is the energy to raise a teaspoonful of Haagen-Dazs to your mouth. Anyway, before we do the top 10 worst stuff list, I'm obligated to do a checklist of stuff just to make sure that you know what you're getting into. Number 1, I'm nuts. I cannot be trusted or relied upon. Not clinically nuts. Nuts in terms of like contextual nuts. Everybody's expecting to be, sort of just walking through their lives as a mouth-breathing brainstem and impulsive sort of robotic drone, just bouncing from experience to experience and reacting in ways that have nothing to do with the advancement of your lives and the lives of those that you care about through growth and through self-sacrifice and all the various different types of things that really caring and passionate people will experience in their lives. Instead, you just kind of sit around and just kind of go like, why me, Lord? Why me? Get over yourselves. I'm nuts in the fact that nobody has anything to do with curiosity. Nobody feels like, knowledge is bliss. They're so busy being subsumed by the idea of ignorance is bliss, or that curiosity killed the cat, or that nice guys finish last, or the meek shall inherit the earth. It's all bulltink. It's all designed specifically, all that stuff. Even on that level is designed specifically to demotivate you, to detach you from your own ambitions, to slow you down, to slow your roll, homie. That's what I'm talking about. Number 2, I'm not partisan. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to play your stupid hate games anymore. I'm not going to excuse people who are hateful or hate mobs and stuff like that, like the Proud Boys and ICE and all those types of things. But I'm not going to start casting aspersions at people with broad brushstrokes, because that's bigotry. There's good and bad and a lot of different things that we're told are all bad or told are all good. I don't think they were being told anything's all good at this point, but the people are being told that they're all bad. There's gray areas everywhere that we're asking to whitewash over in our endless compulsion to find easy answers in life. There are no easy answers in life. Life is a 4-letter word, right? There's a reason for that. God damn it. So I'm not going to play these partisan games anymore. I'm doing one thing and one thing only. That's golden rule. Do unto others as you can do, as you would have done unto you. And if you can live by that all the time, and that means not judging people by what they are, but by who they are. The types of people that really are. Are you a kind person? Are you a decent person? Are you fun-loving? Are you giving? Do you embrace challenges? Do you truly make sacrifices for others? Truly, not just making a charitable contribution that you write off on your taxes so that other people have to pay for something that you take all the credit for. I'm working, I'm president, and I'm not taking a salary. He's writing it off on his frickin' taxes. That's part of why he won't release the frickin' tax forms. 16 frickin' goddamn years or whatever the hell it's been since he's promised the goddamn tax returns that still aren't coming. Ah, man. And it's not, they're all fools. I mean, everybody who's ever believed in any of the leaders that we've had for the last 50 frickin' years or whatever have been all lied to, victimized. Sorry to be the one to bust it out there for you and just tell it like it is, but hey, somebody had to do it. Number whatever. Oh, we're out of that. So anyway, these lists might not seem real, but they are real. This particular list is put together by a team of former dental floss manufacturers who gathered together with me out by the world's largest ball of twine and take copious doses of blotter acid mixed with paint fumes in order to be able to come up with these lists. And before we get to it, we get a very important part of this whole thing, which is award-winning fake commercial segment of the show where we've won a Peabody Award, a Drama Desk Award for satirical and academic excellence. From the producers of Total Recall comes the Total Product Recall. We recall more products by 5 a.m. than most people do all day. Total Product Recall. Strip Center, a mall full of strip clubs. Boy, yuck. Ahmad Rashad Shank Redemption. Now this he doesn't even it doesn't even make it. That's so dumb. Oh man, this segment is the worst. I gotta really beef this segment up. If anybody's got any ideas for some fake commercials and wants to make absolutely nothing for their efforts, please reach out. Sitz Bath and Beyond. That's a good one. Sitz Bath is the way to go, man. One of the most, first of all, the most luxurious thing that anybody can have in their lives. I don't care who you are, what you are. The best thing in life is having in-house laundry. When you have your own laundry thing, man, it's just, and I don't know what people think. It's like, I don't need luxury beyond that. The things I need out of life are in-house laundry, and maybe, I don't know. A sitz bath would be nice, but just because I'm so ginormous, physically imposing, wiping is a chore. I don't know how people are fat of me, how they even make it. Do they have like an assistant that stops by once in a while for a wiping? Do they do like jump in the shower after they evacuate? I don't get it. Sitz Bath Beyond, now available in 2 colors. Old Man in the CNN. Old Man in the CNN. Old Man. Walter Matthau and Dennis Miller in the new Paramount Productions Larry Ellison Spectacular in surround sound. It's Old Man in the Sea, NN. Old Men in the Sea section was funnier, but I don't have it on this list. Frodo Rooter, when a hobbit has clogged the toilet, who does he call? Frodo Rooter. Uncle Tom's Cab Company. Cab companies don't even exist anymore. This is really bad. This is a super bad one. The Manson Family Feud. Now, that could be fun to watch. What's it called? Those ladies and stuff that he had. Uncle Sam Manson. Anyway, this is embarrassing enough. That's enough of that. Let's go on with the list, shall we? Top 10 worst things that you added to the slideshow. Ooh la la. Number 10, Mickey Mouse's gloves. Now, see, this is repulsive, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm sure you need me to tell you more stuff that you should be aware of. But that's the raison d'etre of this entire endeavor. Sorry. It just is. Mickey Mouse's gloves. It's funny to me how picayune. I got cancel cultured for a joke, a satirical joke that was meant to be a comment on the cavalier nature of using of relying on abortions and stuff like that to be a type of birth control. And so I did a joke and I got cancel cultured over the joke. I never hurt anybody. I never advocated it. I clearly had meant it to be a joke. For 30 years, I've been doing stuff like this, and it destroyed my life in large part. It was probably advanced by some nefarious individuals that were looking to try and just be hurtful and bring glory unto themselves, let's say. But it was never more than that, and I had a huge track record of helping people for decades, sacrificing everything I could to build a distribution network for those who've been marginalized by mainstream media, creatively, intellectually, media-wise, opinions, and reporting, and things like that. And it ruined that whole idea, that whole identity, and that's fine. Or whatever, but it really sticks in my craw that we have so many things where people get away with stuff that is so much worse than just a bad joke that people didn't get, or, it wasn't even really a joke. It was really, honestly, satire about, what the world has become. I mean, you go with Chris Brown, who beat the hell out of Rihanna, and after that, his career took off. Or he's getting heavy rotation spins and things like that. How do you justify not going after some guy for a satirical joke that was meant to be making a commentary on some of the negative aspects of having a cavalier attitude towards reproductive responsibilities, and let an actual person who's beating the hell out of Rihanna become a superstar? Or you could have like all kinds of people like Kill Tony, who does a joke at the Republican Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden in the lead up to the 2024 election, where he says Puerto Rico is an island of floating garbage. And afterwards, he gets his own TV series from Netflix. This is a really true, it wasn't being funny or satirical or anything like that. It's part of who he is. Well, Mickey Mouse's gloves is the highest form of that type of, I don't know, it's like a combination of ignorance and a defiant level of detachment from the world around us that has become such a really essential calling card of the American intellectual Americans' repulsion against anything knowledge-based or intellectual. Because Mickey Mouse's gloves are part of the minstrel show blackface outfit that existed, back in the, vaudeville days, that continues on to this day unabated. Now, there's a through line of the gloves that Mickey Mouse wears from the beginning of the Mickey Mouse character back in the whatever it was, 30s or whatever, all the way through to today. And so it is, there's a continuity, there's a through line that has established that it's part of his original outfit, and that outfit, those gloves, come from the minstrel show blackface outfit. The blackface wasn't just the cold tar, dark black face makeup and the regrettable depiction of big giant lips and things like that, and the natty afro wigs. But there was a costuming that was part of blackface as well, which included something usually like some butler suit type of thing, penguin suit, and white gloves. The white gloves are what Mickey Mouse is wearing. It is actual minstrel show from that era, actual minstrel show blackface costuming. That Mickey Mouse, the whole childish racist empire of Walt Disney was built around Mickey Mouse. And he's wearing blackface. And still is wearing blackface. How is that not called out and used to just destroy everything that Disney is all about? It's not just the fact that he was doing all these racist cartoons when he was, and the Song of the South, and his support of the Nazis that came over to America in Operation Paperclip, where he's actually making movies with Nazis like it's no big whoop. It was a huge whoop. Werner von Braun and others and his, sort of, Nazi pals of his are making movies with Disney, with Walt Disney in the movie in the 50s, a Walt Disney production. And they're going like, this is the guy who did the V2 rocket, and they're showing V2 rockets being launched, and those V2 rockets are being launched against London. And I'm sitting there watching these movies, and I'm going like, what the hell? Why are we continuing to support? Why is Walt Disney one of the big winners of the big four conglomerations that are left standing at the end of this whole goddamn race to madness that our society has been forced towards over the years? And Disney is one of the ones. Disney, God damn it! And this whole goddamn time, they're freaking mascots wearing blackface. Blackface costuming, but blackface nonetheless. How's that not canceled? I get canceled over one satirical joke. One. And destroyed an effort that I was trying to do to build a distribution network that would allow people to sidestep the corporate ethos and be able to speak from their hearts and be able to do everything that they want to do creatively, to follow their own impulses and try to liberate the human race out from underneath the boot heel of their oppressors with some truth and honesty in our cultural mechanisms, and work outside the system without having to sell out. And I got canceled for one satirical joke and ruined. And Mickey Mouse's Gloves gets no flack whatsoever. No frickin' flack. Where's the frickin' flack? Chris Brown. Good luck with that. Good luck justifying your society. Everything, when things are collapsing around your heads. God bless, the collapse of the United States. For all I care, all you people are sitting there going, oh, well, let's just turn the other way and not even look at it, not even get engaged and let everybody suffer for the fact that we couldn't resist having 5-hour binges every night of frickin' Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and all these other stupid, nonsensical, brainwashing, jerk-off wastes of time for our entire lives. Going out to frickin' Cubs games in the supposedly bluest state of them all, and showing selfies. Oh, I'm at a freaking Cubs game. Aren't I cool? And then the next day you're showing somebody, anti-Trump thing and marching and stuff like that, a cutesy little sign like, isn't Trump has a tiny little shrimp penis and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, look at my cute sign. Well, what the hell is it going to be? Are you going to go out and support the Cubs who are owned by the Ricketts family, who one of them was like the head of the economic side of Trump's 2020 campaign? These aren't just regular, ultra right wingers that we're all forced to have to support because we won't put in place nobody will take the time to put in place any kind of shopping system that allows us to be able to scan products and barcodes and news media resources and stuff like that in order to be able to compare it with our own personal politics so that we can make choices on the fly. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to make that much of a difference, but we will get people to slowly edge towards more socially responsible activities and efforts to try to at least pay some attention to that, or at least cover up for themselves, or whatever. But they don't have anybody doing any of that. So in the absence of that, you got to figure that people are just actively supporting the Ricketts family because they're too stupid and too ignorant to be able to give a rat's ass and think that it's more important for them and cooler for them to be able to support the Chicago Cubs, even though they're giving over the disposable income to the worst of the ultra right wingers. And it doesn't make any freaking sense. Man, because the next day they're going to be showing the picture of Trump has a microphallus and stuff like that, and say that we're cool, aren't we cool? Because we're posting about the. You're not cool. You're not good. You're not nice. You're not decent. You're abhorrent. You're pathetic monsters. Are just as bad as they are, because you could do things to be able to engage, to be able to make a difference, but you choose not to. You choose instead the easiest path between point A and point B, which results in a bunch of people suffering, millions of people suffering and dying because of your ignorance, because of your hate, for contempt for other people in this world, that you won't pay attention long enough to be able to make an effort that makes any sense, that makes people feel and think and care and embrace the world instead of denying it, pushing it away. And that's why you're part of the problem. And if you want to sit around and think that you're all that for, showing off that you're at a Cubs game, go cool out with a freaking Cubs game. It's just pure hate. And that's who you are. They're hateful and ignorant and evil because they're compelled to be, because the only thing that makes them happy is seeing good people suffer. Well, you're enabling them. And that's, just as plain and simple as I can put it. And screw you, buddy. Because of you, people like me can't do anything. We're totally marginalized. I'm in a electronic jail. I'm sick as hell all the time. Sacrifice everything that I could. Couldn't have any ability to be able to find some traction. Thousands and thousands of people that I've given my heart and spirit and efforts towards to try to help them a little bit. I can't even contact them because of all the blockage and blacklisting and shadow banning and all that kind of stuff that they heap upon people like me, because people like you are out going to Cubs games thinking that it's cool and promoting it on your freaking goddamn feeds, because you gotta have that glory. You gotta have that little slice of you're the star of your own movie, don't you? You gotta be the star of your own movie. Oh my God, I didn't get any likes. I'm gonna have to go do a Cubs game so I can get likes on my freaking TikTok. All right, number 9 on the top 10 worst things that you added to the slideshow. You miss 100% of the shots you don't drink. Now, see, that's, again, sort of, blackout drunks and drinking your asses off. That's not cool. You know what's cool? Is like, putting your nose to the grindstone and realizing that all the, people that were murdering all throughout the world or exploiting in sweatshops all throughout the world, we're responsible for it. Those people are out there praying every minute of every day that's for help from the oppressive nature of what the United States is doing to the world around us. Not just the United States, but a lot of other, industrialized nations that are living high in the hog. And but it's, primarily the United States, because we have had an opportunity to be able to do something about it, and just at every turn decided to just turn off and tune out. It's just, oh. Yeah, I'm so disappointed in you. But you missed 100. It's a takeoff on Wayne Gretzky's. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's like that's supposed to be Wayne Gretzky being cute. Like Wayne Gretzky could be. Who the hell wants to hear from Wayne frickin' Gretzky? God damn it, the great one. All you did was shoot a bunch of hockey pucks. It's the worst of all of the major sports. Boring. You can't see the puck. Everything like that. Who gives a rat's ass about any sport, really? And people who are really losing it over sports, are just complete wastes of life. Sure, have some fun, watch some sports. Who gives a rat's ass if that turns you on? Great, good for you. But if you're going freaking nuts about it, and collecting a bunch of stuff and sacrificing about actually going to games and wasting your time with all that, you're opening yourself up for a little bit of criticism, because what are you doing to pay for the social costs of denying all of your energy and effort from real world applications in a world that's so full of need, a world that's been destroyed, obliterated by the ruling elite overlords who have victimized everyone else and turn this world into a living hell for so many people, that you have to build new freaking $100 billion sports stadiums all throughout our nation so that you can have enough luxury skyboxes to go around for the rich people in your community. It's freaking pathetic. The Bears are doing that to Chicago. Chicago's broke ass and spending their way into oblivion by these rotten, corrupt leaders, fake Democrats who pretend to be representatives of the working class and things like that. They represent nobody but the wealthy, just like the Republicans. They couldn't care less about the working class people of this country. And I'm goddamn freaking sick and tired of it. And I don't know why you aren't angry about it, why you're not doing anything about it. What is it? Are you just so complacent? Are you so full of yourself that you can't look outside the world and see the impact of what we've done? What you've been, sort of tacitly approving with your indifference? Oh, God, I'm in so much pain. So much pain. Number 8 of the top 10 worst things that you added to a slideshow, Bill Maher. Now, Bill Maher, has there ever been anybody more obnoxious? Just look at that freaking guy and the smug little freaking, smoke my weed on my show. Could you please not smoke weed on the show? I'd love to have just a great discussion with you, because you seem a little bit more open to diverse opinions like this. No, I'm going to smoke my weed. In your face, you freaking fecal business. Bill Maher has always been like a total phony to me. I never really got the whole idea. Back in the early days when it was Unconventional Urge or whatever his show used to be called, Total Unconventional Urge, when it was on ABC and broadcast television. And it did seem to open up some discussions here and there, and that's why they kicked it off of broadcast television and reduced its reach by putting it on cable. They didn't do away with them completely though, and over the years he's only become like into harsher and harsher, more intolerant, ultra right wing jerk off, like all the rest of them that are allowed to be on the other side of the gatekeepers. Suzerainty, and allowed to actually be on the air, and there's no other way to survive but to be that way. So I get it, but the fact of the matter is that he sold out, that he decided to take what was at one time a little tiny bit open minded, and turned it into something totally intolerant and creepy, like Bill Maher's has become. Bill Maher's. Johnny Marr. Johnny Marr, will you get over yourself and just change it to Mars to make it easier for people to pronounce? Nobody gives a rat's ass about what you think or what you call yourself. Just call yourself Johnny Mars already. Get it over with. Johnny Marr. Who the hell's Johnny Marr? What a jagoff. Get the frickin' Smiths back together, you frickin' jagoff. Nobody needs your solo career. Pathetic. Morrissey's out there. He's still alive. The drummer or one of those guys died. I mean, one of the worthless pieces of the Smiths died. But who are you kidding? What's the point? You got lucky. You caught lightning in a bottle. 1 out of 10 billion people in life get to catch lightning in a bottle and make something of it, and create something that people really, really care about, that speaks to them, that alleviates some of the pain, fear of being alive in this horrible, horrible world. And you just treat it like it's nothing, like it's cavalier, like you couldn't pay anything into it. And you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to take the money for doing this gig. Don't do it for the money. Do it for the people. Just do some freaking gigs. Play a few clubs. Stuff like that. Get over your freaking self. People want it. People need to feel like there's some kind of truth and honesty somewhere in the world. And the Smiths gave it to him for a brief amount of time. Brief periods. Brief. Why can't I stop saying the word brief? It's Bill Maher, right? Am I right? That name's stupid. Keith Richard. I think isn't his name Keith Richard too? And everybody just says Richards because it's just like too hard to say Keith Richard. I mean, they had Cliff Richard in that Britain country over there, and he nobody. I don't think anybody ever calls him Cliff Richards, but he was so, I don't know, sort of milquetoasty. Why bother? Why bother caring about anything like that? Why bother caring about anything like anything? Number 7, of the top 10 worst things that you add to the slideshow. He-Man changes his pronouns to they man. See, there's a place where I could see myself getting in trouble. Don't mess with people's frickin' pronouns, man. They will come down on you like a ton of bricks. Like 2 tons of bricks. Like, what's the metric equivalent of ton? Kilograms. Kilos of bricks. Ooh! They will get you with kilos. They will come down on you like 300 kilos of bricks. Kilograms. 2.2 pounds? Something? I get lost in some of that stuff. But I think it'd be funny if it came out with they man. Masters of the Universe. And they had a bunch of sexually ambiguous characters in there. Skeletor was sort of gender fluid. Gender fluid Skeletor would be hysterical. And not to laugh at people, but just be fun. we're not going to normalize this stuff until we start to like integrate it into a wide variety of, different sociological situations and have it assimilate. I think, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I'm not trying to get anybody hurt. I've always, said that, a lot of the stuff that are being done is just leading to people being more hurt. With the Aman Khalif, I forget the exact pronunciation of it, but the female boxer that they had in the Olympics in 2024. I can remember seeing the fights online about that. Was just everybody was so dug into their positions, like they could never possibly be wrong, and they, like anybody else who thought they were wrong were just worthless and incompetent, people and just garbage people. The pain. But what it wound up was, sure, the left wingers, alt-left fought for it so heavily, saying, oh, blah, blah, blah. But, in the real world, the fact that they had that athlete in the Olympics was a big part of getting out the vote to elect Trump. And take a look at the world that's happened since then. Sometimes you got to make decisions based on priorities and not just with your heart, but with your brain. Did you think that was going to lead to something that was really going to help in the long term? The people on the left know how right-wingers are. The more that you taunt them, you call them deplorables or whatever Hillary Clinton does and stuff like that, only fires them up to get out to the polls and to vote, to own the libs and stuff. And, and it just leads to more ass whoopings on trans people and the statistics skyrocketing for hate crimes in that regard. And I think things have to start by where everybody operates from a place of safety. Change has to happen in that context. And if, freedoms are great, but if you're getting people killed for that, it's worth talking about. I don't know. I'm not somebody who should be trusted or relied upon for opinions along these lines because I don't have family members or people I was intimately associated with that I know to be trans. I've had friends, really terrific, amazing people, but that's not at the point of actually confronting the issues necessary to be able to feel that's the right choice for you. And I don't know, without those types of experiences, I don't think I should be relied upon for my thoughts and whatever on the idea. But I feel like that I hate to see people getting their asses whooped and not making any progress for the pain and suffering that people are paying for at the tail end of it. At the very least, those types of things should lead to liberation. And they're not. They aren't. They resulted in Trump getting elected and validating all the worst impulses of the biggest bullies of all time. I don't know. It's tough questions, tough answers. Number 6, top 10 worst things that you add to the slideshow. 2025 broke all records for U.S. retailers closing, with over 8,200 stores and chains closing. That's 12% more than the 7,325 that closed in 2024. It's a lot of. This is a retail apocalypse. And the United States is built off of shopping. Shopping was what turned the United States into this gigantic economy. And I'm not pro materialism. I think that, getting away from that ultimately is great, but doing it so fast without, also facing at the same time facing the AI jobs apocalypse and, facing like this wanton destruction of this crazed maniac in charge of our country. I'm sorry, all you right wingers, but he is crazed and he's taken us into forever wars and all the things that he promised to you guys. Turned out to be, thus far, have turned out to be lies. He's spending like a maniac. Everywhere you turn, he's got the $200 billion frickin' ballroom he's building and tearing down the frickin' White House. And he's got giant Arc de Trump that he's trying to build and a giant skyscraper for his own library and all the kinds of nastiness that, these are not hallmarks of somebody who has, pride and integrity and elbow grease and some of the things that the working class of this country have made this country, the worthy parts of this country so laudable. It's nothing to do with it. It's all just taking money, borrowing money from the future children of this world and bankrupting the country like he's done with so many of other businesses that he's been charging before. I don't even believe that Trump is really in charge. I think he's a sort of puppet that they put out there as a distraction while they, unleash the AI technology on us and try to replace as much as they can of the human race with AI robots that don't take up as much of the expense that we do to create the wealth of the overlords, which is really the only reason that they keep us around to begin with. I believe that he's all just a part of what they're doing to distract us from that. And all the other things are just sort of normalized things that have been going on forever. This massive amount of racism and hatred amongst the population of the United States has escalated since Clear Channel and Bill Clinton and all these other hateful things that have come on board, like Breitbart and Daily Wire and who's that lady with the thing with the blonde, Ann Coulter, and Rush Limbaugh's, all these hate mongers, liars, Fox News, all these things have really ramped up the hatred over the last 25 years or so that have, put us all at each other's throats. That's kind of a new development, but beyond that, really, we've had wars every 25 years. So the Iran war should have been no surprise. They can survive. The military, who are our true leaders, can survive off of $1 trillion a year as long as they have their wars every 25 years, so they can completely retool, get the money to completely retool the military for the next 25 years. And now it's going to be, higher level of drone and rocket technology, clearly, and the AI attack robots, which they just unleashed as of, I was doing this on April 2nd. They just unleashed attack robots in the war in Ukraine. So, that's part of what's going on here. But you've got, the collapse of the retail market in the United States is so beyond anything that anybody could have conceived of throughout the entirety of the last 100 years of the United States, that the retail system would completely, and it's a large part because of shoplifting. They won't talk about it because they don't want to admit in public about how easy it is for shoplifting to absolutely destroy the economy. But it is a lot of why there's so much closing in retail, and a lot of closing and entertainment venues and things like that. People are just absolutely, there's a total collapse of politeness or whatever you want to call it. Well, in our society, everybody's just so quick-tempered and hateful and angry, and they feel, I guess, exploited to a certain extent, which they should. And they're done with civility. Just absolutely done. We're going to shoplift the hell out of every corporation because the corporations hate us, and we're going to get back at them, and we're going to act like a bunch of classless morons because we don't know no better. And nobody gives a rat's ass, and we're going to have street takeovers because we don't have anything else to do with our lives. And everything is so horrible that there's no reason to be able to feel like you can contribute to something in this world because there's nothing that has any value and any self-worth at all anymore. The corruption is so integral to the nature of what it is to be an American that you can't escape it, even for the tiniest little bit. And it's absolutely, that's why so many incidents are happening on planes, so many incidents are happening at theme parks, so many incidents are happening at, it's just insane. So much thievery. Number 5, all of the top 10 worst things that you added to the slideshow, things that, float your boat. When self-pleasuring. Number 5, all the hatred, greed, war, phoniness, and intolerance are actually part of the plan by Big Pharma. Okay, Big Pharma. Now you're excited. Now you're interested. He said Big Pharma. Did he say Big Pharma? He did say Big Pharma. Now I'm plugged in now. 100% on board. Go ahead and unload your Big Pharma comment. Big Pharma to ramp up sales of their antidepressant and anti-anxiety drugs. In other words, all of the hellish life styles and victimization, stupidization of our creative cultural mechanisms is all to depress the hell out of us to sell us all antidepressant drugs. What do you think of that? Any of that stick? Any of those spitballs sticking on there? So on and so forth? Woo! I'm right. Ooh, an extra bonus bell. Because of how right I am. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I'm right. It is, isn't it? And a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world is just contributing to the fact that, pharmaceutical companies want to, drug us. And the powers that be want to drug us. They want us fat, drugged up, impotent, and infantile. And the more they get what they want, the worse things get for us, and the more difficult it becomes, and it just becomes a sort of self-fulfilling perpetual motion machine. It keeps rolling forward, rolling down the hill, spiraling down into deeper and deeper and darker depths. Darker depths. Number 4, top 10 worst things that you had to the slideshow. Ooh la la, slideshow. It's a Small World ride at Disney has been forced to retool as It's a Smaller World, where instead of animatronic kids from different countries, I had to read this one. This is gobbledygook. Animatronic kids from different countries are going to get kicked out of It's a Small World. They're all converted to kids from different United States. And the song has changed to It's a Small Pud After All. The inspiration for fascism finally paid tribute to so and so. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this stuff. Instead, basically what it boils down to is this. It's a Small World ride at Disney. More Disney stuff. This should have been a Disney-themed top 10 worst stuff list. Top 10 worst things, influences of Disney on our culture. My God, keeping it down to only 10 line items? It's impossible. But anyway, instead of being a bunch of different countries, it's a bunch of different states. Right? Because it's an even smaller world after all at this juncture. So far, there's no truth to the rumor of sending Kristi Noem down to It's a Small World After All ride to shoot the heads off of any of the foreign depictions of foreign children in their animatronica. Number 3, top 10 worst things that you added to the slideshow. Mel Gibson's career comes back, but Will Smith's isn't. Gee, I wonder why. Wonder what's the difference between Mel Gibson and Will Smith. I mean, Mel Gibson's career has come back. He's doing another Lethal Weapon now, isn't he? And he's done, I don't know, probably a dozen movies, many of which have gotten... He was in one of the X-Men. Or not the X-Men, the Expendables. Same difference. But he was. I mean, he was one of them. It's been in big movies. And Mel Gibson is a guy who they caught him dead to rights, recording him, saying some of the most wicked, bigoted bulldink in the history of wicked, bigoted bulldink. And yet here he is, Mel Gibson. Everybody just wants that guy. That guy's, making the comeback. But Will Smith, for one little slap on Chris Rock for, insulting his wife at the Oscars, and his career is still in the pits. Will Smith, is like any cook, has, issues. He took him out on Chris Rock. I'm sure that, he's regretful about it. But how come it takes him so long to bounce back and Mel Gibson's like back, blockbuster movies? Could it be because Will Smith is black? Oh, I'm not supposed to talk about such things. How bold. Oh, what a bold thing I am. You talk about such taboos. Have I taken leave of my senses? I think that's a pretty obvious question. That nobody needs to. Questions that nobody needs to ask. That's another great top 10 list. Somebody jot that down in the comments so I'll remember to keep that in mind, to do it. It's difficult for me to take ideas down, to jot ideas down while I'm in the midst of this screed. Mel Gibson's a rat, jerk, pig, dog, monster. There's no doubt about it. But he's a great action actor. And it's all this bludgeoning and stuff in all of his movies. I mean, it's just, he lays it on thick with the graphic violence and stuff like that. That guy's a freaking pig. He's a guy, I think would probably be better off if we used Mel Gibson as a lab rat type of animal and shot him with a cannon into the moon to see if that movie, that old silent movie that they do where they shoot a cannon into the moon and the moon is like a man and the bullet from the cannon lands in his eye and starts crying cheese. Like, let's shoot Mel Gibson into the moon and see if it cries cheese. I think that would be a better use of him than having him as an actor. Why do we keep making him? And there's another guy, where he goes off, and this is proving so many different things in our society, where our society's gone wrong, is proving that, that we're allowing, people like that to get, free of the cancel culture, right? He's not subject to the cancel culture because he's getting everything back or whatever. Him and Chris Rock and Mickey Mouse's gloves and all kinds of stuff. But Will Smith can't make a comeback. Will Smith was funny. Some things, I don't know. Was he doing bad things to other people? I took a swipe at Chris Rock. Chris Rock is freaking obnoxious. Not that he deserves to get hit or nothing like that, but he's playing on that edge to, a lot. It's a slap. It's a freaking slap. Get over yourselves. Freaking Mel Gibson over Will Smith is more proof that, we're very selective about who gets canceled and who gets humiliated, who gets dehumanized, all that kind of stuff. And it boils down to, a lot of it boils down to preconceived notions about race and wealth and all kinds of nasty stuff that we all pride ourselves in saying that it doesn't matter. I'm not judging no books by its cover. You do nothing but judge books by their cover. Number 2, isn't the push to deport Nicki Minaj over her opinions a sign of intolerance? When people, again, this is sort of coming from the same issues. People call Trump taco. Trump always chickens out. Isn't that the same sort of playground bullying type of name calling people were complaining about that Trump himself did with like Lying Ted and making fun of the, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, the journalists who had the disabilities that he'd make these horrible jokes about and stuff like that. I mean, when they go low, we go high was obviously aspirational bull dink that Hillary Clinton, I mean, the queen of the cheap-ass phony turncoats who seems to hate everything there is to hate about the working class. But at least it was aspirational, and something people could get behind, saying like, yeah, you know what, you're right. You need to sort of like be the better person and have high-minded ideals and not give into that sort of lowbrow stuff. But now it's like a flood, an endless, relentless, rampaging flood of when they go low, we go low. And it's like completely turned around. We're to the point where people don't even give the rat's ass that Governor Newsom has built his entire 2028 likely campaign on the idea of getting in the mud and rolling around. What's it? You get in the mud with a pig, something like that. What's that? You roll around in the mud with the pig, something. You both get dirty. I can't remember what there's a phrase out there. Oh, man, but it's just like Nicki Minaj has opinions, okay? Get over yourself. What the hell's wrong with you? If you didn't know, when Nicki Minaj was doing a song, she's got a song about throwing away all your money, going to strip clubs, emptying out your ATM, not just going to strip clubs and having fun and, spending a few bucks, whatever. Going to strip clubs, emptying out your ATM, taking all your money over to strip clubs. Was it Cardi B or was it Nicki Minaj? I can't remember. But, there's a lot of stuff that's, like Nicki Minaj is doing this very surface-minded stuff, bitter feuds and stuff like that. It was all childish, stupid. Did you not know what you were getting when Nicki Minaj, for all those years, was doing all that stuff? And all of a sudden she starts saying, like, you know what, I'm a total MAGA. And love Trump and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And you're thinking like, oh, God, what a betrayal of my it's faith from Nicki Minaj, who's the real answer, the real deal, true blue supporter of who I am as a different person, sort of trying to, investigate the deep, unresolved feelings of my truest self through Nicki, through Minaj, and how could she let us down like that? How could you be so incredibly ignorant of the incredible ignorance of Nicki Minaj, the vapid nature of so much of what she did? Oh God, but there was a push to deport Nicki Minaj after she came out as MAGA. She's a rich person. To expect any of those rich people to not be MAGA is delusional. Yeah. But, to all of a sudden think that, so it's time to get rid of her. Let's kick her to the curb. Just don't buy her freaking albums. I quit acting so childish. It was just opinions. I know you probably put upon everything like that by all the endless degradation of the human condition, intellectually and spiritually, that's been going on for the last 10 years under this whole nightmare that we've been forced to endure, but it doesn't make it any better. And I think it's probably all a media creation. A lot of this stuff is just sort of artificially implanted into the lexicon, and nobody has any means to be able to investigate the objective truth of it all. So they just kind of, I don't know, accept it as being true, but who knows what the hell's really going on. You see a lot of people in your direct sort of friends lists and stuff that you see their feed, that their posts on your feed, and their, endless amounts of childish playground bully types of insults that a mere 8 years ago or whatever were unheard of. And it's a combination of dragging people slowly to the right and degrading their intellectual and emotional integrity at the same time, so that now one of the things that they hated the most, you had Ilhan Omar, is that how it's pronounced? Again, I don't have television, so I don't hear the pronunciation of a lot of these names, so I might get a lot of these wrong. But the fact is that she's out there heckling President Trump at the State of the Union address, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene did, that all the left-wingers hated when Marjorie Taylor Greene did it, and now that Ilhan Omar is doing it, everything has been brought down so much. Again, the bar isn't, it's just lying on the floor. There's no way to get the bar lower than it is now. There's no respite from it. There's no alternative that's coming out getting enough play to advance any integrity whatsoever. Who's going to save us from all this degradation? Lion Ted. Is he going to come in? Lion Ted, you going to help us? Number one of the top 10 worst things that you add to the slideshow, none of which apparently have anything to do with anything sexual, unfortunately. Sorry to do that to you. But that's part of this whole game, this tease that is trying to simulate your intellectual capacity without having to sacrifice any of your time, really. So, within an hour, I can talk about all these different topics that you probably never would have paid attention to had I done a title like a variety of intellectually driven, acerbic criticisms of society in general. Is that something you would click on? Hardly. Number one, Marvin the Martian was right the whole time. We'd all be a lot better off if Bugs Bunny would have let him have the Illudium Q-36 explosive space modulator. How did you take away my Illudium Q-36 explosive space modulator? Wow, what an incredible fun time this list has been. Wow, it's one of the best lists of all time here. Oh, I feel so, don't you feel more enlightened and sort of invigorated that, somehow, some way, that maybe our lives aren't lost forever into an endless spiral of hellish darkness? That's all the time I've got for this particular episode. Thanks again for tuning in. Once again, we were sponsored part by Mr. Dictator Head. Have pics of all kinds of American politicians with the little facial pieces that you can put in place. And it comes now with the pretzel that almost choked Bush Jr. to death. It's Mr. Dictator Head. Now proud to be the part sponsored by of the top 10 worst list. Now, everything I've said here is opinion. None of us are not even opinions of my own. These are just things that I've channeled through the universe, through the veneer of sort of moral superiority. No, that's not right. Abject disenchantment of the world around us. No. And what's the one always everybody tells me? Abandonment issues. That's what it is. It's all based on, but no, that has nothing to do with, no, it's just the universe is out there and it's talking to us. We haven't been able to figure out how to translate it, but the energy that, that creates the stream of consciousness of the creative process is not necessarily anything that we have control over. It's just some mystical force that happens in the world, and it just travels. It's like like a ghost that runs through us. And when the ghost leaves us, the idea is left behind and said, "Oh, well, thank you, ghost. You've done such a great job of being able to enlighten me, and we're able to focus, some of the feelings I've had inside into some means of expression of those exact impulses." Do you get it? Do I get it? These are all opinions, okay? I don't really be feeling anything that's anything to do with less than that or more than that. But so grateful for you to be here and this total, this journey towards a higher level of consciousness that seems to have escaped us at every turn. And I welcome you to come back for even more of the top 10 worst lists, the best in worst lists that there is in the entire nation. Before you go, don't forget, smash it. You know what I'm talking about. I want you to smash the freaking like button. Like, smash it like you've never smashed the like button before. Like you've never even had any opportunity. Like you've been like button deprived for your entire lives. And you're like, all of a sudden, you're confronted with, oh my God, I've got an option with the like button. Oh my God, what an exciting experience this could be. And then you're like, oh, should I do it? Should I do it? Gotta do it. I gotta do a component. The like button smashing will take place. So anyway, thanks for joining me with this thing, or both of you. Not who are you talking about? Both of us. Yeah, both of us. All right, fine. Thanks for joining in on this, you filthy animal, and let's try to get through this mess together. Oh yeah, by the way, one